welcome everybody. Jamar and Cam's back. We want to first mention that we have decided to do a little bit of a rebrand. We're going to mention that before we get into the rest of our topics. We ended up going with Porch Talk. We hope you all like it. Give us some feedback and stuff, what you think about it. We got a new logo out along with, we got TikTok, Twitter, or X, Instagram, and Facebook page right now for you to follow us, and we'll try to throw out some clips and then previews for the episodes and what we might be talking about. We would like to also put out some posts to get some interaction between us and you guys. We can read y'all's comments on air and answer y'all's questions on air. I think that Jamar, did you put stuff on Facebook already? The information on all of them?
I think so.
Yeah, okay.
We've
still
not got a lot of
figuring it out.
activity on the Facebook thing yet, but
Yeah.
I think everything's working, and it is Porch Talk now instead of
Right.
our old name.
Okay. And we're still working through everything. Still big learning process. As you all notice, the ones of you that are watching on YouTube or Facebook, we are doing a video. It's the first time. I think both of us we're using the computer webcam right now, so we ain't super high quality yet, but we're figuring it out, having fun. We will have the audio version on Spotify for you to listen to. Just like I said, keep giving us feedback. We need all of it, so that way we can make some changes here and there, tweak here and there. Like I said, the main thing is we're just having fun, and we love all the support we've got so far. But that's enough of that. Jamar had a huge week last week. Hit some bucket list concerts that some of us would love to see at least once.
But
I don't know,
Melissa's
man.
bucket list for sure.
Yeah. So I'll let you get into that because I'm interested, and I'm sure everybody else is interested to hear about it.
Yeah, a couple weeks ago we went to Eric Church. Obviously, we talked about that before. So going from that concert to the ones we went to last week was different. Last Wednesday we went to a 50 Cent concert that Busta Rhymes was also at, and Jeremiah. I did like a few songs, and it was I don't want to say eye opening, but it was better than I expected it to be.
Yeah.
I didn't know how well the sound, and knowing, you hear it on a CD or something. I didn't know how well the hip hop and the rap would go over in person, but it was actually pretty good.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed it, especially 50 Cent. You listen to him in high school and after. It's like Melissa even called it on Facebook. It was our high school burnt CD tour, and that's pretty much, it's like a throwback thing. It was a lot of fun. The drive to Raleigh was terrible, and
always.
to get to that one, but it was a good time. There was a cloud of smoke above the crowd, a little more than there usually is at some of the concerts I'm at.
I guarantee it.
If the wind had changed direction a couple of times, we would have probably had to move because we both have random drug tests at our job.
Mm-hmm.
And if that cloud of smoke would have come towards us, probably would have had to change directions. But there was a lot of that going on. But yeah, I mean, pretty good crowd. I mean, the seats didn't sell out for 50 Cent until, even on the drive down there were hardly any. It was nowhere near full, but by the time the concert actually came, it was a very good crowd. And then Saturday we went to Lewisburg, West Virginia, to the West Virginia State Fair, say Ludacris, which was really cool because Ludacris for me in high school was that. I mean, that was probably my bigger one. And she was more about the 50 Cent, I think. But she we both like Ludacris, but Ludacris for me was, I don't know that I had a burnt CD that didn't have a Ludacris song on it.
Yeah.
So that was a lot of fun. much
Sure.
better drive to Lewisburg than Raleigh.
So, you know, how excited everybody or how involved was everybody whenever in the club started playing 50 Cent?
It was. I mean, the crowd involvement was. I mean, you've been to country concerts, have people sing
Yeah,
along. Same thing. 50 Cent. Almost every song he pulls out, it's one that people have heard and know all the
yeah.
words. They sing along basically. Crowd involvement was huge. For both of them, him and Ludacris.
How involved
Uh,
was you? Was you up dancing?
I mean, I swayed back and forth.
Yeah,
I'm not very good dancer, but
yeah. I'm more of a
I did
slayer.
get the head bob in.
Yeah.
I got into it. It was fun. Ludacris, the he did 50 Cent had a live band playing all their music.
Hmm.
Like it was very good as far as that goes. Ludacris was a little more, not as much of production. He had a DJ playing his actual music, and then he sung the lyrics. But 50 Cent actually had live like guitar, keyboard, drums, everything.
Oh yeah.
So which
I think that's better.
made it a
Most.
better show probably than the Ludacris. But I mean, Ludacris, I don't know when the last time he did anything like touring or new songs was. He's
Yeah.
been in the Fast and Furious movies, so I mean
Yeah.
he's been busy. But um,
I just remember him as an actor. I
we
can't even
got
tell you
lucky
the last
because
song I heard
yeah,
about him.
she didn't know about the Ludacris concert until on our way back from the 50 Cent concert.
Wow.
That's how short notice that was. And I looked at her and I was like, well, let's do it. If we're gonna do it,
Yeah.
now's the time to do it. So I'm glad we went. It was a very good experience. Um,
Yeah. I
so
mean, like I said, that's a bucket list. I mean, if you think about it, probably when you was growing up. I mean, even when I was growing up, I remember how popular they were. But especially when you was growing up, I mean, to get tickets to see both of them in the same week would have been unheard of.
you probably couldn't have done it,
No,
I would imagine. Yeah,
no.
it's I mean, yeah, it is kind of wild how it all fell together.
Mm,
Um, very fortunate that we were able to do it because I never thought I never really thought anything about going to like a hip hop concert. We'd mentioned things before, but it always fell through or something. And um, got her the 50 Cent for her birthday, and then really enjoyed it. So I was definitely all about going to Ludacris if I could.
yeah,
But you mentioned bucket list. We had the conversation on our way home talking about who would be on our list of people if we could just pick anybody, money not being an issue, travel, nothing being an
yeah,
issue. Eminem would be on mine for hip hop.
yeah. I think that's everybody's.
I mean, that's kind
Yeah,
of what I'm thinking. But other than that, I can't really think of anybody that besides Ludacris and 50 Cent right off the top of my head that I would rather, because so those are up there on my list. So I mean,
yeah. I mean, I'm like you. I've only been to mostly country concerts. Um, other than some gospel concerts when I was younger. But I know that you're saying Eminem or 50 or whatever. But I saw NF a few weeks ago. Well, I guess about a month ago. And it's crazy, man. I guess, just with what you experienced last week, the energy in a rap or hip hop concert, I was not used to that. And it's kind of addicting. I'm not gonna lie. I could see why
it was very
wanted to
high
book another
energy.
one so quick.
Yes, it's you find yourself almost forgetting
Mm,
you're around a bunch of people you don't know,
yeah.
and you get into the songs, and your memories come back, and
Mm,
you almost, I don't, for lack of a better saying, you feel young again, almost.
yeah.
Um, it's nothing like an Eric Church concert. That's the best experience you can
Yeah. I'm still
have, in my
working on that
opinion.
one.
That's a that's a whole different ball game.
Yeah.
But almost for the same reasons, because you're so into you get lost in the songs, and you forget you're around thousands of other people. It's kind
Mm,
of how it was with these two. Is you just you forget, and there
yeah.
you are in the moment. You're back in your vehicle with your burnt CD in, and you're going down the road,
Yeah.
and you look up, and there they are on stage. It's pretty cool.
I used to get those burnt CDs, and you get that big marker, you know,
Oh yeah.
Jams, Volume
Did you
1,
have the folder, the big folder where you kept all your burnt
Oh, yeah,
CDs
yeah,
and all that?
yeah, zip it up.
And then I put like the ones I listen to most above my
Yeah,
steering wheel on the visor.
yeah.
That was
I used to have
kids don't know, man.
I remember used to, you download them onto the CD, and I felt like I was a producer, I was trying to map them out and be like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, I think this is a good intro song. Okay, I think, let's keep it still somewhat fast in the second one. Let's slow it down in the third. Like I was sitting there mapping everything out, just like I was mass producing this CD to everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Which, of course, it was just me listening to it, but
I
I
always
had to be
had to
so
get someone
meticulous.
else. I always had to get someone else to burn mine. Our
Mm,
internet wasn't good enough at the house to do that. Well, it took 3 days for me to burn a CD, I think.
yeah, well, I mean, mine was like that for the longest of time until we got high speed internet.
Yeah. Yeah, I had to hook up with a couple people that could. You had to buy them I'd buy them the CDs. They'd burn them for me. That was
A
that
burnt
was like a
CD,
dealer back
yeah, kind of like a burnt CD type black market at the high school.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. People's burnt CDs in high school were. I mean, that's like a. I don't know what to compare it to, but that's a big deal. Like who has the best collection? Who has the best songs
Yeah, I
on
don't know.
a one CD?
I don't know if you ever did this, but and I did not do this. I'm going to throw this out there. But I remember having some family, uh, in particular, some of my brothers, that had burned the CDs, and the women that they were with at the time, they'd be like, "This is whoever's mix," and they'd give it to them as a gift. That was a big thing back then. I don't know if
Oh
you ever
yeah,
did that, but
that's how you profess your love for somebody.
yeah,
Burn them a mixtape.
the burnt mixtape.
Yeah,
And
I
most of the
never did
time,
that either. I don't think.
no. I think most of the time it was just the same random songs that you would have put on your own tape. Oh,
Yeah, it's pretty much. It's yeah. It was another way of I guess that was how you slid into DMs back in the day. Was you
I
give them a
guess so.
burnt
Just give
CD and
you,
tell them how you feel?
yeah, give you mixtape.
Mm-hmm.
Anyone out there listening, we might put it out as a question this week. What would be your, I guess, all-time mixtape if you had to give to somebody?
It's a good question.
Yeah, to significant other, friend, whatever, or even your
All
dad
time.
or
That's
mom.
one
Yeah.
dive deep into that one.
Well, I was going to say current, but now I was going to say, what is your nostalgic mixtape? I think maybe just everything together.
Mm-hmm.
If you had to burn a CD right now, what would you put on it? So I might put that out there this week because that just kind of us talking about it. I think it'd be interesting to see everybody's taste. So,
I would definitely recommend anyone that enjoys that kind of music that is hesitant about going to a concert to see it. If you get the chance to just go,
yeah, definitely. Uh,
I think you'll be worth it if you really like the music.
and I'm not seeing the people you've seen, but I think obviously 50 and Ludacris, I think they've pretty experienced. Everybody knows what they're about. Uh, from my experience, if anybody gets a chance to go see NF, go because that was one of the best experiences I've ever experienced at a concert. Uh, Probably top 2 or 3 concert period that I've ever been to. Uh, it was just an amazing time. Which we were down in the pit, and that's different. I don't know that I would ever do that again because it's man,
If he gets big enough,
I mean,
that's
it was sold
the
out.
problem with
But
people getting huge is you get some pit
yeah,
tickets, man. It's
well, I mean, the price wasn't the bad thing, man. But if you're down in the pit, you do not leave the pit.
that's what I mean.
Yes,
Like you don't go to the bathroom.
Nope.
because you're losing the spot. Yeah,
Yep.
if you're going to a pit and getting tickets, you got to have a big group with you, so half of you can stay, try to hold your spot, half can go to the bathroom,
Yeah, and even
do
then it's
whatever,
hard.
and yeah. And we decided we're never doing pit tickets again because the last time we did, Melissa couldn't see over the person's head in front of him. So,
Yeah, you always run
I
into
mean,
that.
she gets stuck right behind somebody taller than
Mhm.
me. So, what's the point?
Yeah, and I'm not the tallest person, and so I've had that issue. I
Yeah.
had to constantly like bob and weave to try to see, but
Plus,
it was
I'm getting
awesome.
old. I gotta have a seat occasionally in case my back starts hurting. You
Oh
know what I
yeah,
mean? Let
I
me sit
mean,
down.
I understand. I understand. Uh, well, I guess
We got to
before.
get you to an Eric Church concert first of all.
Oh
That
yeah,
has to happen.
definitely. I mean, I definitely want to go.
You're too big a fan to not see him yet,
Mhm.
so we gotta work this out.
I hope when I go, it's the first of many. So it's an avalanche. We just keep going.
And once you'll be hooked, I'm telling you, you'll do
I'm
whatever you
hooked
got to do to
already,
get.
and I've not seen anything but videos on YouTube. So, um, but while we're on the country topic, I guess we can. We're going to get into some sports, obviously. Um, Something I want to do every week because I stay pretty up to date with the new country music that's out. So I just kind of want to do my own opinion of the top 5 new songs of the week in country music. I want to try to do this every week. You know, you may disagree with it if you do keep up with it pretty heavy. But if anything, maybe it's some songs that you guys can listen to that you didn't know that was out, didn't know the artist or whatever. Um, so I'll run through these real quick. Um, this is my top 5 new country songs of the week. Number 5 is Cab in a Solo by Scotty McCreery. Number 4 is Movin' by Colby Acuff. Number 3 is Dandelions by Annie Bosco. Number 2 is Lifetime So Far by Zach Ellis. And my number 1 new country song of the week is Amen by Lana Springsteen. So just to throw this out there, I won't dive into these because I know we're going to get into some of the sports. But most of these you probably never heard of. Some of these people I've not heard of. My number 1, Alana, believe it or not, well, not believe it or not, I mean, if you know my wife, you know that she's a big Taylor Swift fan.
No kidding.
So, yeah, so she was showing me a TikTok the other night of this girl that wrote a song about Taylor Swift, and it was
Have you
called
never heard of her?
Alana.
Yeah,
No, I have not until
I don't even
now.
know what the song is, but I've heard of her. I
Yeah, well, I
think I
mean,
might follow her on Instagram or something.
well, she's great, and now that I've seen, listened to some songs, but we watched that video, and the song was called Taylor Did, and just kind of talking about a female, you know, pretty much from my wife's age. When we were going through school, Taylor Swift was big. It kind of guided them through some hard times in their life. So that song's kind of about that. But next day comes around, the new country songs come out, and I noticed that name. I said, "That's that girl who sings that Taylor Swift song." And so I listened to it, and it's called Amen. And for me, I thought it was really good. I mean, it didn't relate to me uh, too much, but I mean, it was pretty much about a girl that is used to a small town and is obviously talented and wants to kind of spread her wings. So she leaves a small town and she's kind of like telling her mom, "Sorry that I got to leave, but it's what I got to do." So it's got a good story. But just, you guys go check those out. Um, Next week we'll throw out some more. Luke Combs was featured on a new song as well this week, and I liked it. It didn't make it in my top 5, but if you want to check it out, it was called "How I Learned to Pray." And it was by Charlie Warsham, and Luke Combs was featured in it as well. So, Jamar, I guess we'll go ahead and run through our high school games. I think we're going to go through some of the big games this week. Jamar's got a list of them we'll go through, and then we might talk about our game of the week, the one that we're going to try to go to Thursday night. So, Jamar, if you want to go ahead and run us down through that.
Yeah, it's early in the year, and so we don't really know anything about many of these teams. But most of these, I mean, I don't know what we call local on our show, but Southwest Virginia, I guess in general, like to a certain extent, we got to stop somewhere. But Thursday night, Honecker goes to Lebanon, which is going to be our game of the week because that's the one we're going to try to hit up. And I think this is going to be a very good game. I think you said even Bristol has Honecker as their second in their power ranking, third, something like. And
Yeah, I think
Lebanon
they just
is on it
included.
also.
Yeah, I think they just included some pretty local teams. You know, they didn't, of course, include like the teams out of like the Tennessee side and stuff like that, but they went with they had Lebanon at 4 and Honecker at 3. So you had two,
So
based on them, two top 5 teams.
Honecker being in single A and moving districts this year to the Hogle-Higgy, and Lebanon having to move up to a 2A this year could be, I mean, beneficial in ways, but that's a big jump going from single A to double A. But they're keeping that rivalry, right? I can't even say it, alive. So that's always a good game. I feel like no matter, I mean, not always a good game, but it's always one that gets your attention because, I mean, it's an in-county thing. So that's our game of the week. We'll talk more about it later. Maybe not tonight, but on the next podcast. Maybe later tonight. I'm not sure what the plan is.
Well, I figured we could probably do just a little bit of a small preview of what we know. But I mean, obviously Friday night, we're going to be on here and we're going to talk about what we thought of the game. Obviously the results and highlights and stuff like that, and what we kind of think going forward from our experience of watching them.
Test out that parking at Lebanon I was talking about, see if it's any different or if it's better.
Yeah, I mean, you know, who knows? You might have a good welcoming crowd there. They might save you a spot.
I don't think anybody is listening, luckily. So, Friday, Phelps at Twin Valley. Twin Valley, first game back after Noel's team last year. I don't know. I wouldn't imagine they're expecting, I mean, a great season as far as wins, losses. But at this point, just seeing them out there playing is a win.
Definitely,
hopefully they'll be able to put a good product out there on the field. But Graham at Bluefield, which is always a big one. Twin Springs at Northwood. Patrick Henry at Virginia High is a big game. Both of those teams, I think, are, if not in Bristol's power rankings, but both I think are predicted to be tough this year. Gate City at Richlands. I think Gate City's probably, I don't want to say back from their old glory days, but they're much improved in the last couple of years.
To have a good team.
And I don't know what's going on at Richlands this year. I've not really heard anything about them this year other than maybe you had some people leaving to go to Honecker. So we'll see. I mean, you never know about. You can't count any of those teams out usually. So, no matter what their record is, so that's usually a good game. John Battle at Abingdon, J.I. Burton at Ridgeview. Ridgeview should be really good, I think. And I don't know what they graduated from last year or year before, in the last couple of years, but I'm pretty sure they should be pretty good again. Union at Lehigh, Y Central at Eastside, Hurley at Sherman. Have you ever heard of Sherman?
Yeah, is that the Kentucky? I believe.
I don't know. I've never heard of them before.
I have heard of Sherman, but you know, it's been a minute.
I mean, Shermanator on American Pie. It's the only Shermanator Sherman I know. Carroll County comes all the way to Grundy. That's a long trip. I've talked to people that played at Grundy, talking about going to Carroll County, and that is a terrible trip, apparently.
Yeah, Carroll County, now that is the former home of Frank Beamer, right?
Yes, it is.
I thought so.
We went through there, I think, when we went to Danville.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure we did.
Yeah, good
Or I
possibility.
didn't ride up with you, but the way my GPS took me, I'm pretty sure I did.
Yeah.
And North Green is at Castlewood. Not sure about any of the Cumberland District teams this year. I'm not sure about any teams right now from what I hear. So hopefully throughout the year we can compare some scores and get to some games and be able to better inform, have better opinions about these teams and keep up with
Yeah.
them. And are we going to do a player of the week next week on the podcast? Look back at some stats maybe and pick somebody.
Yeah, we can. It's all. I think everybody knows it's gonna be a learning process for us. Just, I mean, not watching football, obviously, but I mean, just working our way around our schedules and getting enough. You'll probably get to go to way more than I'll get to. Um, but I'm gonna try to watch as much as I can, at least online or whatever, and we can do that. We're gonna work through it. We'll see.
I
Um,
like it.
Definitely though, game of the week, and we'll definitely try to go to one, or if for whatever reason me and you can't go to one, we'll still break down a game of the week and watch it online or whatever we have to do.
I plan on being in the game every Friday.
Yeah.
I'd like to be at whichever game we pick as the game of the week,
Mhm.
but that won't always work out, I don't think. But I plan on probably being at one every Friday unless it's raining. I'm something like that. But
Yeah,
so
I think that's good. Well, I guess, do you want to go ahead and give your pick for the air game of the week this week between Hunter and Lebanon? I mean, I know right now there's not a lot of details to really break it down yet, but we can throw out our picks and
um,
something we might be
I've heard
excited for.
I've heard different things from people. I don't know what is true and what isn't.
Yeah, it's a good thing about
Um,
preseason. It's
yeah,
it's like that for
I
everybody.
one
Yeah.
minute the
Mhm.
Honecker had the quarterback has an injury, but he
Yeah.
played in the scrimmage Friday, so I don't know if it's still. I'm not sure. I don't want to speak on any of that. So if
Mhm.
he plays and he's able to, play it and be healthy, and well, not necessarily 100% healthy, but if he's able to be at quarterback, that gives Honecker a better chance, obviously, because you're
Yeah.
not taking a weapon away from another position and put to fill a quarterback. But
Yeah.
I don't know what Lebanon has around them other than that quarterback, and he's good. He's very good from what I remember last year. I mean, I think Honecker got maybe some transfers from Richlands this year. Not sure if any of them are playmakers or game changers or
Yeah.
not, but um, we'll see. So I'm taking Honecker. I don't know what to. I think it'll be a close game. I think turnovers may decide
Yeah.
who wins this one.
So, we were at. Did you go to the game last year? I know I was there when they played each
No, I
other.
went to. I can't remember which game I went to
Okay.
last year,
So
week one.
the game last year, I remember like the first few drives. Homenaker, they're new to this spread, air raid, whatever it is they run, and they come out there and they make a few big plays, and I think, whoa, like, okay, like I'm excited because we haven't seen this that much in this area, and I was like, okay, they're gonna blow Lebanon out. Like, that was the way that I thought it looked like. 'Cause I was like, man, the defense doesn't know what to do. Then you started seeing, okay, they kind of got the idea of what they need to do in this offense, but they're not there yet. And they started having some mistakes, some turnovers, some pass blocking that they had issues with, some just things that timing, just stuff like that, that with repetitions is fixed. So, that was a close game back and forth. Now, fast forward to this year, I think you have a whole year in that system going against, some talented teams, and now you have a whole off season going in this system. I know it's not pads, but when you're running the air raid or spread, all those repetitions, even on air, can be beneficial. You're sitting here running these mesh concepts or your screens, uh, getting that timing down, or in the mesh, knowing when to sit or when to keep going as a receiver. I mean, all that stuff is just timing and repetitions, but it's good to do even if you're on air or in 7-on-7s. So I think they are going to take that into this game. Um, I don't know what they have on defense. I don't know how good the line is. Now I know Honecker, over the course of the last 20 whatever years, uh, their line has always been, at least as far as back as I can remember, have been a strong point. So you take that in this game. I think that I can see Honecker jumping out early. I'm sure that Lebanon is prepared for this, but I think it's going to be like a notch up from last year. So I think Honecker is going to come out strong. I think they might jump up on them 14, 21 points in the first half. And then I see it kind of like last year, getting itself back a little bit closer, but I still give Honecker the edge by just getting up just enough ahead in the first half to carry it in the second half. I do think the second half will be a lot closer. But overall, I think it's going to be a fun game to watch. And I love Lebanon's field. I mean, the parking situation may be a controversial issue, but
It may not be as bad as I remember it.
yeah,
Like
might
I
be a little
said, it may
controversial,
have
but
been me getting there really
yeah,
late or just not remembering
yeah.
because
But
it's been a long time. But
I love the
um,
field. I love it. It feels
yeah,
like it's like
the
boxed
stadium is
in. I
great.
like it.
Looking down on it,
Hmm.
it's in a bowl, right?
It's somewhat like
Somewhat,
that's what it
yeah.
feels like. Um,
I had a
yeah,
great memory of Lebanon being at Lebanon Field when I was in the 6th grade, maybe. I think Garden
yeah.
upset him. I remember we threw toilet paper on the field celebrating, or
Sounds like
maybe
a
we
pretty
lost
good
and
memory.
threw toilet paper from losing. I can't remember something with
Hey, I
throwing
think
toilet
that
paper on
sounds
the
even
field.
better. I think
I
that
don't
sounds
remember what it
funny.
was exactly. Um, but I think there's a lot of hype around both these teams, a lot more than they've had in the past
Yeah.
however many years. I think both are expecting to be good and competitive. Um, Lebanon going up to 2A, I I don't know how that would affect them going forward, losing to a single A school.
Well, it depends on how the
I'm not
single A
sure what the
school
mindset
does.
would be, so it may be very important they get off to a win, regardless of how good that single A school is. I don't know if that even matters, if it's a thing that they'll even take with them moving forward. I think
Yeah.
it almost seems more important that Lebanon being up a division now, it's almost more important for them to win, it feels like, than Honecker, just from that standpoint of moving forward in that division. But that could be overthink. I mean, I could be overthinking that, and
Well, I
it may
think
not, because the points are still
yeah,
going to. If Honecker has a really good year as far as playoff picture goes, the points for Lebanon, even from losing to Honecker, you're still going to get a lot of points.
that's was gonna be my
So I mean,
argument. I think they'll be fine if
yeah,
Honecker,
yeah,
ends up
the
having a
win
good
loss
year.
thing, I don't know that it would affect their season going forward. I hope my big thing is I hope that both teams are healthy and we can see a full roster for both sides
Yeah,
going at it. That's the most important thing I want to see is that. I still think maybe I'm picking Honecker because I don't know enough about Lebanon. I'm not, I'm not real sure, but I tend to lean more towards Honecker pulling it out. So
yeah,
I do think turnovers could be the deciding factor, though. If they're both as good as what people are saying and picking, it could be a turnover game. Whoever makes a mistake, who has the ball last. But hopefully, it's
yeah.
one of those games,
Could be.
especially if we're able to go.
Yeah. No, I just hope it's an exciting game. I mean, at this point, when you've been a year without high school football, just being under
Yeah,
the lights again is
any kind of
a
football right
nice.
now is great,
It is, but
just to have it back. So
it's always so nice and refreshing. You get under the lights and you hear the music playing. You see just the spirit of the crowd in that environment. It just God almost gives you chill bumps thinking about it. And it's not even like my home school, but just going to any school and watching it. Just I don't know, I love it.
It'll be a great Friday Night Lights environment. Other than I think it's supposed to be the 90s Friday.
Yeah, but it'll be
So
on
it's going to be a
Thursday
little hot
too.
for football weather, but
Yeah. Well, this game will be on
should
Thursday. Not that it's going to
it'll
be
be
any
Thursday.
colder,
So
but yeah,
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 it's still going to be warm. It is
yeah.
August, so that's
Well,
my favorite time of year. I hate cold weather, but if you're playing football, the weather needs to cool down some for it to be a
yeah.
real
See,
environment and
give me
get it
about
the way it should be.
about a month and a half or 2 months. That's my weather. That's my favorite
Yeah,
time of year.
if I can go outside without a hoodie on, it ain't football weather.
Yeah, there
I
you
need
go.
that hoodie on.
There you go. Well, that's our high school game of the week, along with the rundown of who's playing. Uh, we're going to try to do one Friday night. We might even throw a guest on here just to hit some of the games with us and recap the game of the week. Um, we'll try to do a full rundown on the scores Friday night. We can get those, I'm sure. And then, whatever we can see just online, stat wise, and if we hear any big stories, I pray no big injuries, but, whatever news we can get Friday night, we'll throw it out there. Um, all right. You ready to go into the college segment of this, or
Yeah.
okay? So, something we wanted to do. We do have week 0 coming up this week, but since we're doing a podcast possibly Friday night, we're just going to hold off on going over the week 0 games and our picks until then. There's not many for week 0. I think it's kind of almost like a preseason, like the NFL. Just a little bit of a tease. You watch it, then you're excited for the moment, and then you realize, oh, these games are not that good. But we'll still go over them. Um, so what we're going to do instead, since it is still preseason technically in college, we haven't got there yet. Uh, we picked our Final Four last week, and we picked who we thought was going to win it all. So this week we thought we'd switch it up just a little bit and do our Heisman candidates, our 1, 2, and 3. I'm not sure that we really picked a winner, or we might pick a winner, but uh, really more than
I mean, if you
anything,
want to throw one out, we can, but I'd
yeah,
rather just wait. Maybe.
yeah, we'll just go over the 3 that we think's going to be there, and maybe one dark horse. Um,
Go ahead.
and then after we run these down, we'll try to explain our picks. Do you want me to go first in this?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and go first. So my Heisman watch list for this year is my 4th, which would be my dark horse, is gonna be Carson Beck, quarterback out of Georgia. My 3 is gonna be Jaden Daniels, quarterback out of LSU. Number 2, Caleb Williams, quarterback out of USC. And my number 1 on my watch list is Blake Corum, running back, University of Michigan. And do your rundown if you
Um,
want.
you go dark horse first.
Yeah, I went dark horse first, and it's
Who was your dark horse?
Carson Beck, quarterback
Okay,
from Georgia.
I'm gonna go with the guy from Georgia. It's gonna be Brock Bowers. And the only reason I have him as a dark horse is because he's a tight end. I don't know that he's going to get enough touches to win it. I think he's the best player in college football. Heisman, though, you have to have stats. You have to have more touches, more opportunities. I don't know that they're going to be. I think they're too good to not spread it out to other people. So he's my dark horse. Quinn Ewers from Texas. If I'm going to pick Texas in the Final Four, this guy's going to get him there. So I can't have him not on the Heisman list.
Yeah.
Marvin Harrison Jr. and Caleb Williams are my other 2.
Okay. Um. So I think that yeah, I guess we're trying to talk a bit about ours. I know you already hit on Brock. Um, just kind of hit on mine just a little bit. With what we do know at the moment. I went with Carson Beck, and really I just went with him more as a product of how Georgia's going to be this year. I mean, if Brock's going to get his stats, and I do agree with you, I do think that he could be a candidate because he is maybe the best player in the country. Um, with that being said, he's going to be the quarterback. Carson
Somebody's
is.
got to throw it to him.
Yeah, he's going to be the
So,
quarterback of the
yeah.
best team in the country. I don't think they're going to have much resistance this year. I think they're going to dominate most of their games. I think they're going undefeated. When that happens, usually
He's,
if the quarterback is halfway decent, you're going to get some looks,
mm-hmm.
and I think they will, or I think he will. Um, Jane Daniels, I don't know if you remember watching him last year, but he's a quarterback for LSU. He's a playmaker. He's fun
Mm-hmm.
to watch. I think another year in that system, along with a team that's pretty talented. I mean, you got
And
the
got
stars on defense.
better and better as the year went along last
Yeah,
year.
I think you got some transfers in. You got that star on defense. They got a heck of a receiver. I can't think of his name that he um, had up. Now I know that I think, had 1,100 yards uh, last year, but he'll have him to throw to. Uh, it's a Malik Neighbors is his name, and he had 1,100, he had 1,017 yards last season. So that'll be his wide receiver one he'll get to work with, and add that onto the fact that, like I said, he can make plays with his feet. I think he's a very intriguing candidate to be in a Heisman race at the end, depending on how these games swing. Now, you're gonna have that Alabama game. You're gonna have the big one at the beginning, the Florida State game. He's gonna have to show up in those games big time, and if he does, he could jump all the way from 3 to up at 1 if they roll into the postseason undefeated. Now we don't know right now because I
Yeah.
think there's a lot of questions with them because they were good last year, but when you see them go up against Georgia at the end, they got killed. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so I do think they'll be better. Now let's see if they took the next step to be great.
Yeah.
I got Caleb Williams at 2, which I think both of us have Caleb in there. It's hard not to put the reigning Heisman champion in there,
Yeah.
and the way he plays is just, I mean, it's fun to watch. Um, and then I got Blake Coleman number 1. I think Blake is a very exciting um, player. I mean, he was probably in that list last year that could have went to New York. He's going to be behind an awesome offensive line at Michigan. Now, the only thing that might deter him a little bit is the fact that his other running back partner is also a heck of a running back, and he will split some carries. But I think he's still a great playmaker, and I think he's going to make enough plays this year that he's going to show up, and everybody's going to be like, "Whoa, okay, this guy, he might go in the top whatever in the NFL draft."
Mm-hmm.
I think he's going to surprise people, and I think with Michigan's success, I think that he's going to be the face of that team going forward. So I have him at the top.
Like I said, I have Brock at my dark horse just because he's a tight end. That's the only reason.
Yeah.
I almost went with the Travis guy from Florida State. I think Florida State will be very good this year, but their running game will be so good that I don't know that a lot of times they just won't
Yeah.
line up and run it down people's throats. And he may have some games where he just hands it off. So I don't know how that'll work. And I almost went with Dion's son at Colorado,
Yeah.
but I don't know that they're ready to be in enough games for him to get that or
No,
not.
I think that, I seen him on a watch list earlier. He was at 10 of the top 10. And I think it was more of just let's throw him in there to,
Yeah, because
make
it's
it.
probably going to be exciting, but
Yeah.
I mean, how good are they really going to be? Obviously, Dion is a very good coach, but I
Well,
mean, at that level, you got to have
yeah.
people around.
I think they got like 60 some players, like new players this year, which is
Yeah,
insane. And they're gonna have
that's
to
crazy.
cut a bunch, but With that being said, they're going to be better. I mean,
Yeah.
Colorado was terrible
You can't be
last year.
worse.
But I don't think they're going to make it into the national spotlight of being a top team for him to get consideration. Now, if for whatever reason, I don't think it's going to, if this miracle happens, they're ranked in the top 15, they could be at 15, and he could probably win it then because that would mean that they had a remarkable year, and Dion would probably win Coach of the Year.
Yeah.
Even
Well, that's
with it
why
being at 15.
I have Quinn Ewers on my list. I mean, obviously he's good, but
Oh yeah,
I couldn't pick Texas to make the Final Four without putting him in the Heisman race because I think as he goes, Texas goes. I don't think there's any way around that. If he has a good enough, if Texas is good enough to make it to the Final Four this year, it's going to be because he has a huge year. Marvin Harrison Jr., his dad was a Colt, so I'm a little biased, but I also hate Ohio State, so that kind of evens the bias out. But he's probably the best receiver in college football this year, if not the best, near the top for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I'm not sure how good Ohio State will be. I mean, they're good every year. I think they'll be
good.
Yeah, I think they'll be good enough to where he's going to get a lot of looks. I don't think you can just double him and
No, you can't.
leave everybody else open. And I think he's good enough. He'll probably at the end he'll be there. I don't know that he'll win it. I mean, it is a quarterback trophy for most. I mean, historically, but you know, there are people who show up and get it. And obviously, Caleb Williams don't like USC, but he won it last year. I'd imagine he's only better.
No, he's amazing last year.
You almost can't have a list with him not on it. So I don't know who I would pick to win it. Like I said, a lot of that goes into, I mean, team success too. So it's just
it
too early.
definitely
I mean,
does.
there's no way to know. This could completely get flipped. I mean, there's so many other good players that could just jump out of nowhere. You know, I mean, we're just kind of picking blind, really. But that's what we got. So
Yeah. And after this first week, we're going, well, not week 0, but week 1 of college football season. We're going to know a lot more about, Jaden Daniels, Travis that you mentioned, Jordan Travis. When they go head to head, if one of them really struggles, that might be okay. This guy might not win the Heisman. I mean, it's week 1, but those defining moments, that's a huge game when you look back on it at the end of the year.
I know one guy who'll have a big week 1. My dark horse, because we'll get into this later on, but Georgia's schedule is not good.
Oh yeah, we went into it here not long ago.
Yeah, so he's going to have he's probably going to have a big week.
They're going to be scoring tons of points every week. I guess we can kind of go into this because we kind of sealed up college right there for what we're going to do tonight.
Yeah.
Friday, especially bringing in a guest, and we have plans on who we might bring in for that. We'll definitely dive deeper into college, along with week 0 games, our predictions, some betting lines we might throw out there. So I know this might seem like a short college segment, especially compared to what we've been doing. With that being said, we're going to put it to the side for a second because we had a huge UFC card this past weekend. So I just want to recap that real quick before we head out of here. New champ at bantamweight.
Sugar Sean, man.
Cost me some money.
Completely wrong on that one.
Yeah, because that one, that's what I needed. And wow, I did not expect that.
Yeah,
and that right hand, man.
That's why we said you can. I mean, one shot, that's all it takes. And he didn't knock him out with that one shot. He never did knock him out completely, but which we can talk about that if you want a little bit. The stoppage, whether you thought it was early or not.
I mean, I'll just tell you right here because this is my opinion on it. He was moving around. I think that the more I watch it, the more I see that I think it was all right. I think
I
that
think it was fine.
at first glance, I thought, oh, he's still moving, he's still fighting. But when you really look at his face, and because he took a lot of shots after he got to the
Yeah.
ground.
Well, he rolled over,
Yeah.
and generally when they go roll over,
Oh,
that
they're
I
going
mean
out anyway because
that
they're just
means
going to sit there and
that means
pound
they
on
can't
him.
take him more a lot
Yeah.
of times, so they're trying to cover
Mhm.
up. Grant, was he alert? I think he was. But these days, the way, I mean, rightfully so, they're trying to protect more against too much damage
Yeah.
than what originally the UFC and even several years back. There's been a lot of early stoppages that I've been mad at. I wasn't mad at this one.
Mm.
I questioned it at first, but the more I watched it, I was like, okay, I can see that. But if somebody was against the stoppage, I could see that argument. I could make that argument too.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's part of it nowadays. You're gonna have, I mean, somebody's just sitting there teeing off on somebody.
Yeah.
You're
No,
probably
I
gonna
agree.
have a ref that would stop that. There's some refs that would probably let that go a little longer. He probably finishes him anyway,
Yeah.
but you just never know. But yeah, I was fine with the stoppage.
Yeah. So I'll before I'd like to get back into that, but I do want to have a rundown of the results from this week for those of you who didn't get a chance to watch it yet, who maybe not watching it and you just want to hear the results. Some of the notable ones on the prelims, probably shot of the night, honestly, Brad Katona versus Cody Gibson, which was a Ultimate Fighter in the bantamweight division finale. Brad Katona is a teammate of Conor McGregor. He ended up pulling out the win against Cody Gibson. Cody Gibson is actually a history teacher that does fighting on the side. So that's pretty fascinating. And typically in these situations with the Ultimate Fighter, when you lose, you don't get the contract. You win, you get it. That's the whole point of winning. Um, but the fight was so good that Dana White granted Gibson a contract.
Did I lose you?
Hear me? Yeah. So, um, of course, my headphones died here, so we're gonna roll with this based on my um the mic on the computer. So let's hope that the audio isn't too bad.
I can hear you. You're not as loud, but I can still hear you.
Okay. Well, we're gonna run through it pretty quick, and then that way you don't have to hear this awful audio quality uh too long. But we'll go through it real quick. Like I said, both of them got a contract. Um, Kurt Hallbro versus Austin Hubbard was also a tough finale. Um, I think that was welterweight, and Kurt won it. Um, Chris Weidman lost,
Yeah,
unfortunately.
I hated that.
Yeah, that one sucked. But now, from what I see, it was pretty one-sided decision. Getting to the main event, Cheeto Vera beat Munoz by unanimous decision. I really thought he was gonna come out and knock him out in this fight, but he
Well,
didn't.
it's
Uh,
not for a lack of landing punches. 'Cause
yeah,
when I watched it, he
yeah,
landed and just
yeah. Well,
couldn't put
and
him out. But
we'll get back to Cheeto here in a minute because we got to bring him up for O'Malley's next fight. Um, but yeah, Batista beat Blackshear, short notice fight. I saw a lot of people thought that Blackshear won this based on the stats, and it was kind of favoring Blackshear. It was close. Um, Ian Gary beat Magny. Pretty big one-side decision.
that was one of the most lopsided fights I've ever watched, and I
Yeah.
don't know how. I've not seen anything posted or not, but I bet Neil Magny's leg is not going to be usable for
Yeah.
pretty good amount of time. It was
Yeah.
almost hard to watch the shots to the leg he was taking.
Yeah, and Ian Gary, I mean, I mentioned it the other day. He's becoming a star. He was in a pub the night before the fight, doing just like a little training sparring session in the pub just for people to see. And so, of course, you had these Irish people just eating that up. I mean, he had a pub full of people, and he's sitting there just throwing punches, getting them riled up. Um, but co-main event, Wally absolutely destroyed Amanda Lemos. It was a decision, but if I'm not mistaken, we actually talked about it the other day. The differential was like plus 200 or something on
I'm
strikes.
pretty sure it was 288 to 21.
Yeah, which is ridiculous.
And
Which they said,
yeah.
I read somewhere that it was a record, maybe in women's fighting or maybe just women's strawweight. But
I don't know. But it's crazy.
oh yeah, so that was definitely one
And it
sided,
was
and then
controlled, like 6 takedowns to none. It was everything. Like, it was completely lopsided at every aspect of it.
yeah, it's a wonder that Amanda made it to the end. Honestly,
Well, her and I can't believe Magny
yeah,
made it through. To be honest, I mean,
yeah,
there was
I
never
agree.
any danger of losing the fight. Gary wasn't, but the fact that he didn't finish him was crazy.
Yeah, and our main event, of course, like we already mentioned, O'Malley beat Sterling TKO. Um, you know, O'Malley was already a star with this superstardom right here. I mean, he's going up, up, up. Um, now rumors right now, we're gonna sit here and move to maybe their next potential fight. Like looking forward a little bit. Sterling, I think he is out till at least next year. He's wanting to get some things taken care of, get some training. I think he is having a hard time with this. Um, he did not expect to lose this fight, but he is humble though about it, and I gained a lot of respect for him during this process, the way he's handled this. So O'Malley though, he's looking to fight Cheeto next, which is the one loss that he has is to Cheeto. But now he did get hurt, I think, in the first, second round of that fight. So right now the rumor is, based on O'Malley's X account, he shot a message to Connor, or maybe Connor shot one to him, but they kind of talked back and forth, and he brought up the idea of having McGregor Chandler headline in December, and then co-main O'Malley versus Cheeto. One, that would be an amazing card. Two, O'Malley is a genius because he is already, his popularity is already soaring. What's a great way to make it go even higher up than being on the card with Connor? Because you're going to have a lot of people that hasn't watched a fight in a long time watching this fight. They're going to be like, oh man, who's this dude? They might be turned off at first by him with the rainbow hair and, everything else. But man, he can fight. And when you get on there and you start watching him, and that Cheeto fight's going to be, they're already starting to talk back and forth. A lot of bad blood. And the fight itself is going to be really fun to watch because they both have vicious knockouts.
Yeah. I'm trying to find it. Hang on just a second. Well, I don't know if it was real or not. It might not have been. Something about Connor not fighting this year. Been mad because they're not going to let him fight this year. I'm not sure.
Well, Dana did say in an interview last week that I think he expected him to fight in January, or it was going to be after December. But yeah, if Connor wants that card, I say he gets it.
Yeah,
I may be wrong.
Would he be through the however much time you have to get back in the USADA pool by then?
I don't know when he's going to get in it because it's like 6 months, I think.
That's what I'm saying. So if he's not in it now, there's no way he can fight December.
Well, sometimes he's got that Dana White privilege.
Yeah.
Because Brock Lesnar, he fought before, and they gave him an exemption. So
yeah, I mean,
we'll see.
I think Sugar Sean. I mean, is he the most well-rounded fighter in that division? No, but you don't have to be.
No, when you got lightning in your hands like that.
You can defend takedowns, and I mean I don't know if it's his speed or if it's more his accuracy, if it's a combination of both. But the timing and everything, I mean, it was perfect.
Yeah.
So I think he could run into some real challenges with the other opponents. But I mean, it's his belt to lose now. So
Oh yeah.
who
I'm excited
who's
for
the
it.
number one contender though in that division? 'Cause it's not
See,
Cheeto,
it's
right?
no. I think it's actually Sanhagen, or maybe Marab, which is Aljamain Sterling's teammate.
Yeah.
And
So
Marab put on
what's
a
the deal
clinic
with
against Peter Yan.
is Marab
Um,
not next
I
up?
don't
Or,
know. I don't know how that's going to work yet because I don't know that if Marab's going to wait and see if Sterling wants that rematch
oh,
first,
okay.
or if there's Sanhagen is also up there,
Yeah.
but he had a fight I think of the Nashville card, and he didn't look all that impressed. I think he took the safe route, and he just got the
Yeah.
win and went out. wasn't too exciting, so I think he could have catapulted himself into a title fight if he would have went out there and put his best foot forward.
Yeah.
But he just played it safe. So I mean, you got Marab, Sanhagen, Sterling when he gets back, and you got Cheeto right now that's up there. Now I like the Cheeto versus O'Malley fight. I think that's good for O'Malley for his first defense because I think that fight will bring in a lot of excitement with the trash talk, the history that's there. This would be good for O'Malley for his first title defense because if he can win, then it's going to set him up for the next one. I mean, his popularity is just going to keep growing because
What is
this fight's
Cheeto
going
ranked right now?
Cheeto, I think he might be fourth. I'm not sure.
I
In
mean,
my
that's
book,
not
he should be fourth.
terrible then. I would say if you go to no matter how much of the bad blood or sell
Yeah.
it, you can't skip too many people. But
Well, the funny thing is, after that fight between them two, Cheeto right here is going way up the rankings. And myself, I never thought that O'Malley was going to be there before Cheeto was.
yeah.
But then all of a sudden you had O'Malley come back and he wins a few fights and he beats Jan. And then all of a sudden, as he goes up, Cheeto loses to Sanhagen. And which, like I said, it was a close fight.
Yeah.
Sanhagen definitely won, but Cheeto just didn't come out aggressive. And you can't do that against Sanhagen because he's going to come out aggressive. And so he slowly went down. And when he went down, O'Malley went up enough to fight for the title. And he got that opportunity that Cheeto, I thought, was going to get before him. So, I mean,
Yeah.
you got to think Cheeto was knocking people out on his run. I mean, he was going through a heck of a run before that Sanhagen fight.
Has Sanhagen fought for has he had a title shot yet?
I want to say he may have had an interim title shot, but I'm not sure. I was thinking, I want to say him and Dillashaw fought, and it was a heck of a fight.
That would be my only thing.
I can't remember if it was an
if he
interim
just
or
beat
not.
Cheeto, how do you? That's my thing. Is how do you put him? Let Cheeto go right back ahead of him.
Well, I
it's
think
a money
that
thing, and who can sell. That's what's going to come down to.
I think it's some of that, and it's some of the fact that Sanhagen kind of just didn't come out and real. I mean, he just played it safe, and a good and bad thing about UFC is good or bad. You get people skipped in rankings like that when they probably shouldn't. But a good thing I like about the UFC is it also promotes you to fight the way you need to fight for, not to just go out there and play it safe. They want you to go take chances.
Mm-hmm.
Not necessarily put yourself in a bad position, but they want you to go out there and try to put on a show. Like, try to do your best, I guess is what I'm trying to say. But we'll wait and see. Bantamweight division is super exciting. I think it is maybe right behind lightweight being the best. I think that's a decent debate we could have one day, going through them all. But either way, I'm excited for it, man. And
did I tell
heck
you
of a
about
card.
Holloway announcing
Yes.
on the Flagrant podcast that what's his name?
Korean Zombie?
Yeah, but the guy with the podcast, the flagrant comedian.
I don't know.
I can't remember his name. Andrew Schultz.
Okay.
His podcast today is where they announced it. Holloway and the Korean Zombie in Singapore. I think it's a fight night.
Oh, it is. It's this Saturday.
It's this Saturday?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
That's
Holloway
this
went
Saturday.
up. Yeah, it's this Saturday.
They just announced the fight today.
No, it's been announced. They probably just was talking about it. So yeah, that fight when it came out, the opening odds was the biggest I think in UFC history for.
Okay, I bet the podcast was pre-recorded then.
It may have been.
It was. They even said something about it being before the wildfires, so they recorded that a while back.
Yeah, because see now, yeah, they fight Saturday. They actually squared off today.
How do you? I don't see Holloway losing that fight.
Oh, absolutely not. I think it's like a minus 700 or something crazy like that. I think really what this is Holloway needed a fight, and Korean Zombie, he's about to retire, and they let him kind of choose, like, hey, how do you want to go out?
Yeah.
And unfortunately, I think that maybe Holloway going in, even though I don't think Holloway would do this, but maybe him going in, being somewhat unmotivated to fight Zombie could keep it close. But now, after the disasters that happened in Hawaii, and we'll just throw this out there that all our prayers and stuff are with them, their families, and there are still tons of missing children in Hawaii right now. So it's a very scary situation. But to have that now happen, I see Max coming out and putting on a show because he's going to come out inspired, motivated to fight for the state that he's from, or the state that he lives in. So I see it being very one-sided, but anytime you get a chance to watch Max Holloway, though, it's a gift. So if you're out there and you haven't watched him, check him out.
Especially for free.
Yeah, I mean, he's like, I love Gaethje as well, but that's probably my top two favorite fighters. I love Max. I mean, both those guys are just guys that anytime they're out there, they're bringing it. So I think that's kind of it for a recap in 292. I think if it's okay with you, I think we're just going to go ahead and close this up. I'm headphones and mic-less, so we're rolling off this computer, and I'm not sure how it's going to sound. Going forward, like I said, this is a work in progress. I'm going to be working on getting a different mic, different webcam and stuff like that, so we can improve our production. I think just looking ahead, just kind of give you a small preview. Like I said, Friday night, we're going to try to have somebody on, possibly recap the game of the week, talk about some of the high school games that had happened that night. Then we'll probably go over week 0 games real quick. And maybe even, I think we kind of just gave a little bit of a prediction for the Zombie Holloway card, but maybe we can look at some of the other fights on it, kind of run down them. Anything else you think?
We'll go over fantasy maybe a little bit tomorrow night since our draft Saturday.
Yeah, we have our draft Saturday. I forgot about that.
We're getting you out golfing Saturday morning before the draft?
Yeah, possibly. I'm not sure we want to talk about that too much.
Get you out on the course so we can have a discussion.
Yeah.
That'd be fun.
Yeah, so, we had a lot of exciting things coming up for Saturday. I forgot all about the fantasy football draft. That's a big deal among our friends. We got a pretty nice belt that's on the line, and it's in New Hampshire right now with our buddy Thomas, and it's at some point going to come down here, and my cousin and our friend Tyler, he won the championship last year, so he'll have it in Roanoke. So it's kind of bouncing around the map. We got to get it back down here closer to Buchanan County and Russell County. With that being said, so we'll have fantasy going over. I guess that's probably it at the moment from what I can think of.
I'm good, man.
And we will try to we're gonna throw out some clips for you guys to watch. Share if you don't care. We'll throw them out on TikTok and X and Instagram. Try to build this thing up a little better. And we'll also put out a question. We'll do something along the lines of, what your burnt CD would be, your all-time burnt CD. And we'll try to read some of those off maybe at the end of the episode come Friday night. But that's all I have. That's all you got.
I'm good, man.
Alrighty. Well, thank you guys again, and God bless.